y'all doing? I love doing talkbacks because I get these free weird M&Ms, man. I love it. And they all have your face on them.
Yes, that's so you can eat my face, James.
That's really weird. Okay. I love it. I licked them first. I hope you don't mind.
I get turned on by that.
Okay, enough of that. How many kids in the audience today? Are there no children in the audience?
There's actually one right over there.
Okay. We'll be no. Thank you. Right on. Okay, we'll be good anyways. Good is good. So I like to say, for these talkbacks, you guys can ask me anything that you want. Try to embarrass me. It doesn't work. I've put this gauntlet down everywhere I go, and no one's yet been able to really make me embarrassed. So you can ask me anything that you want. I don't necessarily promise to answer anything that you ask. Nasty people. But you guys can go ahead and ask it. I like it to make things as interesting as possible. So, and I do respond. I respond better to questions. I'm glad we have some microphones up, and we can start with you. You're illegal. That hat is illegal. And it's awesome. No, I love it.
No, keep it on.
How could Fox think they could keep people from wearing a knit cap? Like, we can't make those at home, I love it.
My question is, Supernatural's infamous for pranking their people. Which was worse? Did you guys do pranks on Buffy, or was Supernatural worse?
We didn't really do any pranks on Buffy, or I wasn't part of any pranks on Buffy. We were known as Buffy the Weekend Slayer. Because we would go 12 to 20 hours a day. There were so many. Buffy had stunts, makeup, special effects, computer effects. We had all of the different elements in every single show, and it just takes longer to film that. It was known that if you can direct a Buffy show, you can get a job in any genre in Hollywood, because you've done them all. And so there were consequently people that wouldn't work on our show, crew members or actors that had heard what our hours were like, and they were like, no way, we're smarter than that. So consequently, there wasn't a lot of pranking going on. And I was even worse than that. I was very serious about my craft, right? And I remember asking Joss, I'm not on any of the gag reels, man. What, you don't like me? There's a little movie that's cut together of all the jokes that are told on the set, and everyone acting weird and cute and stuff, and that's shown at the cast party every year, and I'm never on these little movies. And I thought I was, Joss didn't like me. He's like, no, I like you fine, dude, but you're boring. Between the word cut and action, you are boring. You do the same thing every single time, over and over and over again. You just cut, and you look down to make sure that you're on your mark, and then you go sit in your chair and you study your lines every time, which I love, but it's boring. He said, between the words action and cut, it's like someone released a bear out of a cage, and then we say cut, and you're just like, Mr. Boring Dude, like that. No, man, save it for the camera.
But you're Julia.
It's a long day. If you spend too much energy, like Tom Hanks said, the secret to movie acting is lay down whenever possible. Just rest, close your eyes, yeah. But Supernatural, they're naughty. I was warned about that. They said that they would test me at some point. And the two guys were shooting with me in a house. I think we were in my study. I think it might have been my only scene with just them. And I'd been warned that they're going to do something, and I was ready. I was like, bring it, man. And we were doing my close-up, and the two guys are sitting there. I'm standing there, I'm talking to them. They're not on camera. And I feel a naked foot at the juncture of my thighs, so to speak. And I kind of glance down like that while I'm saying my lines, just like that, and I forget which one of them was. One of the dudes just like, eh? And so I was like, this is awesome. So I just completed the take like nothing was going on. They printed it. It's in the show. And at the point when they said cut, both the dudes were just like, oh, dude! Because the test was whether or not you'd freak out. They didn't expect that I would actually get a printable take out of it. So I'm a legend over there. Yeah, I love those guys. They are absolutely humble. They're unaffected by fame. They're really good to their fans. They'll actually go off the set on their break to sign autographs if there's fans standing around. They're wonderful. Great set.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Candy for me. Star Trek, baby. Right on.
I know, she looks super hot, too.
Oh yeah. That's why they have those costumes.
Well, my question is, as much as I'm a fan of all of your work, my most favorite of your work is the Harry Dresden audiobook.
Yeah.
I am obsessed. I've listened to every single one. And for me, you are Harry Dresden. In my mind and everything, whenever I listen to the books. I'm in the middle of Skin Game, by the way. But my question is, why did you not do the TV show?
Because I am 5'10".
So, there's movie
And
magic.
Harry is 6'4", 6'7", you know. They say he's tall all the time.
They do.
I'd like to say if I had a few more inches, we could have done a movie, man. Forget the TV show. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm almost glad I didn't do that television show, just because.
Kind of bad.
Yeah, because it sucked. No. The problem is that material needs money. Computers are making effects cheaper and cheaper, but there are so many different creatures and so many special effects if you really want to do it right. Like Harry Potter, man. They didn't cheap out on it. They did everything quality, and they made so much money off of it. You know, you'd think that people would learn that certain material, if you put the money in, is going to bring it back to you. And they just didn't spend the money on that. The character, I don't know if you guys know the thing, but there's this character called Bob, and he is a disembodied spirit. He's the most powerful character in all of the series of books, but he's a pervert. All he wants he's a little speck of energy, and he resides in his skull. And all he wants to do is escape from the skull and go to porn houses. All he wants to do. And Harry won't let him do it. And he's just a nasty little Englishman. And he knows everything, of course. And he just mistreats him, and he doesn't respect the lead at all. But he's a little pervert. I mean, it's really great. But in the show, they just made him a dude, just sitting there like a ghost. I was like, oh man, no, you don't get it. Yeah. But yeah. I love those books. I absolutely love them, and the next one is really good.
Skin Game or the next one? Because
I don't know the titles. Is the next one out Tuesday?
No,
the next
Skin
one.
Game is the one that just came out.
Skin Game, is that one of the ones where the world is being cracked in half and all the armies are attacking each other and everything?
No, this is the one with
There's 20 of these books, so I'm sorry. Oh man.
Nicodemus Archleone, and it's like a heist job.
Oh yeah, that's the latest one.
Yeah.
Right on. But the audio is coming out on Tuesday, and you're reading the book.
No, I'm listening to the audio already. It came out on the 27th.
You're wrong.
I'm not. I have it on my phone right now. Do you want me to play your voice?
No idea. What's that?
Oh, I said it's on my phone right now. I could play your voice.
No, I believe you. I'm ignorant. No, thanks for that, because when I listen to a lot of audiobooks, and I get frustrated when the reader goes too slowly. And then he picked up the sword and killed his best friend. And I try to read it with as much excitement. I try to get emotionally into it. Oftentimes, if it's a sad scene, I'll start crying like a cut. You know.
You can hear it.
It means that it takes longer to get it on tape when you really are sincere about it. But I try to do that because I think it's a better ride for me doing it and for the audience too.
Well, I am absolutely amazed by them. They're my favorite audiobooks.
Right on.
Thank you.
Hey, bud.
Hey, I was going to ask you, what's your honest opinion of the Dragon Ball movie?
Say what?
Your honest opinion of the Dragon Ball movie?
Okay. I remember when I was in Torchwood, which I thought was freaking awesome. I called my son who was 9 years old, and I was like, dude, I got the best role, man. I got samurai swords, 2 guns, I got a wristwatch sent back through time. I love this role. He's like, Dad, do you win? I'm like, what? He's like, you always get in a fight at the end of the episode, you lose. Do you win or lose? And I'm like, oh, I'm the villain, man. I get my ass kicked again. And he's like, he's just next. He didn't want to know about it. But when I got Dragon Ball, he's like, you are Piccolo? Bow down to that! So I kind of raised my son on Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT. I think that Dragon Ball is one of the best lessons about what manhood truly is, which is to say that a man is peaceful and humble and probably goofy, and he loves to play with children, and he'll play with butterflies, but if you attack his family, he will kill you. And that's it. And that's the lead character. Goku is exactly like that. And then you have Vegeta, who's one of the villains, who's short and is always causing trouble to try to prove that he's a man. He's always causing chaos to prove himself against. And I think that's what I consider an overgrown boy, and I run into them all the time. You know, and they can be 40 years old, but they still haven't realized that men are peacekeepers, I think, essentially. So I think the Dragon Ball Z was important for me as a father. So I was really into it when I got the role. And they told me that it was a $120 million picture, and that Stephen Chow was producing. And Stephen Chow is the director of Kung Fu Hustle and Shaolin Soccer, which if you guys haven't seen those films, go get them. They're just fabulous. They're funny, goofy, violent, scary, everything that you would need for Dragon Ball to work. And I get out to Durango, Mexico, and it's a $30 million picture, and Stephen Chow was just on paper to fool us down into the desert. And they don't want to even pay for the stuntman to get made up like me, so they never used the stuntman. They just kept putting me up on wires. I still have a separated clavicle from the shoot because it was just gnarly. But I wanted my son to at least like my part of it. And
it seemed like a lot of the actors were doing the best they could, but there wasn't a lot to work with.
There really wasn't much. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. But no, okay, this is a funny ending to it. So it comes out, and I want it to hit because, frankly, we get 3 pictures out of it if it hits, and we get another chance to do it again, and then we get to do Dragon Ball Z material, and my character is going to transform into the Piccolo that we all know, because I was doing King Piccolo, it was like that. So I wanted to do. I wanted to like pump out and be Piccolo and surprise everybody.
And win a fun occasion.
And so my son was all excited about the movie, and so we go into the Cinemaplex, and he leads us into the theater, and I'm like, please, man, full house, please, opening day. And we walk in there, and it's packed. It smells like body odor and hot dogs. And it's hard to get 3 seats together. It's my daughter, my son, and I, and we get 3 seats together, and I'm so excited. Something in my brain goes off like, this is too good to be true. And I lean over to the teenager next to me and I say, is this Dragon Ball? And he goes, what? And I go, is this Dragon Ball? And he goes, no, this is Fast and Furious, man. I'm like, no. And so we get up and we go across the hall to Dragon Ball because my son was so excited he led us into the wrong theater. And I'm just thinking, please, man, just 50 people. 50, please. We walk in there, and including us 3, there's 5 people in the audience. Oh. And I just start laughing. I'm like, this is so horrible. In front of your children. Yeah, so no, I don't kid myself. That was not a masterpiece. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was telling them about Dragon Warriors earlier, the film that you guys are working on.
Oh yeah, Dragon Warriors. That's a whole different deal.
It is a whole different deal.
Yeah, that doesn't suck.
No, it's amazing. I think it's very Joss Whedon-esque.
Yeah, it's funny and dangerous and well produced. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's up?
Hey James, I'm Jim. Hey, I'm not going to ask you about the carpet and drapes because as a redhead, I get that question all the time. So I definitely relate on not asking you about the platinum drape thing just because I get it too and I hate it. So I'm not going to ask you about that.
Okay.
But what I am going to ask you about, I'm going for the dirt. I want the juice. On set, Armin Shimmerman has made references to on-set feuds and kind of references to Charisma Carpenter being moved to Angel because of feuds with Sarah Michelle Gellar. Can you elaborate on any of those while your time was on Buffy and even Angel?
I never talked to Charisma Carpenter. I thought she was like her character, man. I thought she was like that, and she's a really good actor, so I had no interest in getting to know Charisma Carpenter at all. I was like a punk rocker in high school, and so I was just not into that at all. And also, her character, Cordelia, was usually running away from me whenever we did shoot a scene. She was on the other side of the set for all this, hiding from Spike or whatever. So our chairs were always way far apart, and there was no reason for us to get to know each other. And frankly, that was the greatest thing about doing Supernatural, was getting to know Charisma Carpenter and realizing that she is the sweetest woman in the world. She's fabulous. She's just a very good actor. And she's known for playing those kind of characters, those bitchy characters, but she's not like that at all. So she's a total sweetheart. I didn't see any clashes with her and Sarah, but I was never, I wasn't trying to get to know them, so I wasn't hanging where that might have happened. I don't know, man. I mean, the hours are long. It wasn't war, because only war is war, but you know how soldiers will not really tell you about everything that happened in war, because unless you were there, you might not understand, and you see the best and the worst in people when people are under that kind of pressure. What I will say is, I saw the best and the worst out of the whole cast, and they saw the best and the worst out of me, and I've come to love them all. But I've been frustrated at every single one of them at a different part, a different point. They've been the same with me, because it's seriously, man, it's very pressurized at all times. I mean, everyone thinks, oh, Hollywood, fine. If you make a mistake, you just get another take, and they'll make you up, and they'll make you look great when no. No, you have to move, you get 2 takes, and you keep going, and you're at work, and if at the end of your workday the audience doesn't feel like clapping, you're fired. That's a lot of pressure. So yeah, there's probably a dust-up, sure, but I had dust-ups too. Just backed me up against a wall one time and goes, I don't care how popular you are dead, you are dead, you are dead! He was under pressure, and I was like, okay, it's your football. I'll hide from you from now on.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. That's a dog and not a small child. Good.
That's my therapy dog. His name is Jimmy. I have a question for you, and it's from my favorite TV series, Millennium.
Yeah.
You were in Collateral Damage,
Yeah.
and I know that Lance is such a method actor. What did you do to prepare for your role as a veteran who believes there was a government conspiracy in Desert Storm?
What did I'm sorry. The sound here is a little bit wonky, I have to admit, so I'm going to be saying, huh? A lot. It's not you. It's just where the speakers are. They're bouncing in a certain way, so...
In Collateral Damage, the Millennium episode, what did you do to prepare for your role as a Desert Storm veteran who believes there's a government conspiracy? And I know Art Bell was in that episode too.
Yep. Okay. If you look at history, conspiracies happen all the time. Now, I'm not saying that every conspiracy theory is true, but I think the fact that they're demonized and made to that the powers that be make conspiracy seem insane is not borne out by history, and it usually means that to me I think, oh, they're covering up some conspiracies by trying to demonize and devalue anyone that thinks that they could ever exist, because they frankly, from Julius Caesar getting knifed in the back in the Congress floor, they do exist. So I just gave give yourself to permission to believe that my character was correct, that he was not insane, and that he was fighting for something that he truly loved, which is America, which I love as well, and I'd fight for too. And then the audience can decide if it's right or wrong. And I think that the script wanted you to feel for that character, not think of him as a villain, but as a really unfortunate soul who might be trying to fix the problem the wrong way by killing people. But but yeah, it wasn't that hard for me because it didn't seem insane to think that there could be a conspiracy. I'm not a conspiracy nut. I just know history, and I'm like, guys, it happens. It does. Sorry.
How was working with Lance Henriksen?
Freaking awesome. Lance, are you kidding me? He's like one of the coolest aliens. So cool. He is like a lot of really great actors. The nicest, most humble, most hardworking, professional guy that you'd ever meet. I've had the privilege of working with Oscar winners and really, really great actors, and I've learned the lesson that when you get up into the A level of actors, you get to really nice people. I'm sure on the A list there are jerks. There's jerks in every industry, but in my experience, the really good ones are humble and hardworking, and that's why they're so successful, because the really good directors do not want to put up with any junk. They don't have to. I remember when I was working with Kathy Bates. I think she's won 2 Oscars, and she was. I think she's in her 60s. You know, she's not old, but she's not that young anymore. She had a 110 temperature that day, and we were doing a scene. They were on Hillary Swank all day, and they were shooting over the back of our heads like for 11 hours. And on the 11th hour, they turn around on Kathy and get her close up. And I'm thinking, okay, well, she's got a temperature. This is a first-time director or second-time director. She's going to have words for him. And we're on the set, and all she says, as she opens the door, she turns back to me and goes, "Men from the boys, James, let's go." And I was like, I love this woman. Absolutely love her. Yeah, she was fabulous. And they were all like that. That was P.S. I Love You. There's Hillary was in that, and Jerry Butler, and I don't know, man. A lot of others, but really good cast. Every one of them fabulous. Yeah.
Well, thank you. You were excellent in Collateral Damage.
Thank you. Right on. Right on.
Hi.
Hello.
As a wife of an Army vet, your answer about who is a conspiracy theorist, your answer is pretty right on. So,
Thank you. Yeah, it's not insane.
playing the supernatural characters with like that offbeat, out of this world kind of situations, where do you draw your inspiration and your method from? How do you connect to a situation that's so out there?
Good question. I think, in a general sense, when you're doing something that has an out there quality, the actor has to ground it in reality. The worst thing you can do is think, oh, I'm out there right now. You have to really be as normal as possible so that all that weird stuff seems like it actually could happen in real life. So the weirder the situation gets, I think the more I'm likely to go, oh, look, I've got dandruff. And so just accept that it's reality, accept that it's really happening, and accept that it's possible that your character might be bored going through that insane experience. It may just be a normal day for them, and trust that all those special effects are going to make the audience excited, but it also might be delicious to watch you not be so excited by it, or really, just crapping your pants.
Is there something?
That's funny too.
Is there something specific that you do to kind of get yourself into that, like with Spike, for instance? He's completely inhuman. It's not natural to have those feelings that he has. How do you make yourself?
Well, I don't know about that actually. I mean, like the big one for Spike, initially for Spike, was that he enjoyed killing people, and I've never done that. But I had just come off of doing Macbeth in Seattle, and Macbeth is the core of Macbeth is he's a warrior, and he kills a lot of people. So I did research about warriors and read about people coming back from war and talking about their experience. And what I found over and over again was this guilt that warriors have, that they enjoyed killing. That there's this animal reaction that happens when you are killing another human being that is apparently very, I'm sorry to say, pleasurable. And they feel guilty about that afterwards. And they will not talk about that to civilians. That's one of those things in war that you don't talk about. But it's true. And it really trips them out for their whole lives. And when I did Macbeth, I had to get comfortable with the fantasy of I'm killing this person. This is awesome. So that when I got to Spike, I'd already done that work, and I could just release and not feel bad about it. And because Joss is also funny, that became really kind of wonderful to watch someone kill people and really have a party. Yay! You know, that was weird, but it was by that time normal for me. And then he loved Drusilla, you know. And we've all had weird girlfriends, guys. How many of you have had the weird girlfriend? And how many women have had the weird boyfriend? But loved him anyway, man, you know? So that was again, you know, you got to ground that in your own experience and really treat it as a normal day. So I didn't think of it as that weird. Sorry to say.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hey, brother. How you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go. I'm a big Buffy fan, and Spike is my favorite character. And my question is, do you think that Spike or Angel was the real champion, and why?
I'm trying to give an honest answer. Because like the ego wants to say, Spike was, man. I guess because Spike chose to have his soul would make a differentiation. I don't know. I mean, I think they both were in a very different way. I think they were both trying to redeem themselves from really bad behavior, you know, and they were trying to be better than they used to be, which is what I'm trying to do. That's the thing. When I went on Angel, everyone was trying to have this war between Spike and Angel, and all of the press, they were trying to get us to run each other down. And I was just like, I hate to tell you, man, but we're good. Me and David, we're good. I mean, I'm sorry, but we're two dudes trying to get through the day. You know, like, I remember talking to him. I've just done one of the episodes of Angel where I was the lead, and he had kind of the week off, and I came back just toast. So tired for the next episode. I'm sitting there at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, David, how do you do it, man? Week after week, shot after shot, day after day. How do you do this? And he's like sipping his coffee, and he just goes, horse racing. I'm like, what? Horse racing. Don't look left, don't look right, just run. It's like I respected him so much after that. I started hating him because my girlfriend at the time was jealous of me and Drusilla because Juliet and I became fast friends. We never became lovers in real life, but we were very good friends. And my girlfriend hated that. I broke up with her. But, no, I mean, honestly, she broke up with me. So, anyway, she was jealous, and she said that she had a big crush on Dave, which I don't know if it was true or just something to make me jealous, but I choose to believe it wasn't true. But that meant that I hated him. And so in the early parts of the show, when you see Spike looking like he's jealous of Angel, that's not acting at all. And it took me a long time, and it was after that relationship, you know, was gone. I finally realized that David was nice to me from day one. He was supportive of me from day one, and he was a great guy. And I finally, by the time I got on Angel, I knew it, and we got along great. Yeah.
You guys made a great pair. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Hey, before we go to the next question, I have to tell you something. We have 5 minutes left.
What?
Every time this
I've had
happens.
like 5 questions.
I know, because we have so much fun.
I talk too much. Jesus.
No, you don't.
Come to my line.
You're
We'll
perfect
talk
and
more.
beautiful and wonderful. And
Yeah,
it's good. No, these are great answers.
Yeah.
They're great questions. So go
Yeah,
ahead.
seriously, if you guys have a question that you don't get to ask, come to my line, I'll answer it for you. Yeah.
So hey James, the period stuff you guys did with the flashbacks
Yeah.
was always really cool. I wondered if you had any favorite memories about that. In particular, I want to ask about the Boxer Rebellion when everybody's walking to the camera in slow motion and the Spike jump. If that was kind of a improvised thing, or if that was written in, or
Like so many things. James, you're going to be here, see the box, you're going to jump on the box, you're going to land, and you're going to look awesome. Be awesome, go. Like that show, the producers were firmly in control of. I didn't improvise one pronoun, one comma. If you get one conjunction wrong, go again. That's wrong. So that was definitely a setup. They planned that out. I didn't really get a lot of direction about how to approach a scene, but where you move and who you hit and all of that stuff, that's pretty well planned out. Yeah. Joss was the only one who had notes for me a lot with acting. Most of the other directors were like, okay, that was really good. Okay, move on. We don't have time. But yeah, so I had a lot of freedom on a certain level, but not on that one. And the thing that I remember mostly about the Boxer Rebellion was I got to shoot with Ming Lee, who was Bruce Lee's second cousin, or whatever that's called when your cousin has a kid.
Yeah.
So her parent was Bruce Lee's cousin. She was so deadly. Like I like to shoot. I like to sell my hits close because I've got pretty good control because I'm trained, but not like that. And I was going a little close to me, and I just nipped her nose, and she just kind of, and they said cut. She kind of went. And then she just went, wow! And her leg was up at my throat. She did a spin like that. And I was like, a little close? She's like, yeah, a little close. I used to love to do that to Sarah, too, because like stuntmen sell their hits way away from Sarah because you don't want to scare Sarah. And I would just go way into Sarah. Just like I would want her to feel the wind from the fist. Like, what are you going to do, fire me? But Sarah is trained too, and she'd be like, oh, really? Okay. And she'd come in and nip my nose every take. Like, we can go there if you want to. I'm like, hell yeah, baby, let's live there.
Thank you so much. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm sorry, my name's Marsden. Rock and roll! I am a huge Torchwood fan, and I actually came to it kind of late because of Doctor Who. I watched that, and then to see you show up in that was just amazing. I had no idea you were going to be in that, and I was a huge Buffy fan. What was it like going to Cardiff and filming and everything like that? Did you actually go to Cardiff and actually film, and what was that experience like, being part of that huge machine
It was
of
fabulous.
Doctor Who?
It was just absolutely fabulous. Very naughty, wonderful cast. Like my first day, I didn't get it yet, and like John Barrowman, who's the lead on that show, is gay, and he'll tell you so. And so, like some gay men, he uses that to get away with murder with the women. So he's just, baby, and Nyoko, who's also a cast member, she was tired that day. She's like, not today, John. Come on, we got someone new. James is here. Stop it. And he wouldn't stop. And I thought that was really offensive because I'm all about no means no, man. Stop. And so I'm just sitting there and I'm like, hey, Nyoko, sneeze. She's like, what? I'm like, next time John comes up behind you to do that stuff to you, just sneeze. Hot, shoot! It'll go right to the base of his nose and you're going to get his attention real fast. Or just step back on the little bones at the top of his foot. Step back hard. He'll stop. Or just elbow, because you got a big bone here and there's nothing breakable in this part of the body. Whereas if you go back, there's all sorts of little stuff you can get to. Whoa. And the cast turns around like, ooh, let the maniac in our pool. Like, oh no, we actually like each other, weirdo. And I didn't explain to me that it's actually, we're safe, we're all good, we're all friends. And I got it. And and then I relaxed and I just fell into, because the English are nasty, man. English people are like, sexually, they're like Vulcans. Like, on the surface, they're all, hello, maybe you have some tea, very nice. But underneath, they're just roiling with all of this stuff. And yeah, so it took me a day to fall into that rhythm, but then after that, it was all good. Yeah.
Thank you so much. You're great at that.
Thank you, Brian.
And I'm sorry to say it's 4:45. That's my favorite saying right there.
No, we don't say it in the microphone.
I have a really good ending question.
Come to my line and play all about
I'm
kissing.
sorry we have to come to the line, but before
Okay,
we leave,
okay.
tell us where you're going to be. Are you
Yeah, I'm going to be on. I'm not taking lunch, so I'm going straight back to my line.
Okay.
Because I talk too much and I haven't gotten to everybody yet. But if you guys would, I'll give you guys a card for my band. We're trying to get 100 more likes
Oh.
by the time we take off to Europe on our tour, because apparently there's a big Rubicon to get 10,000 likes on your page. I don't know this stuff, but if you come and like me, please, then it'll be really good for the band. So I hope to see you guys real soon.
Thank you. Thank